Review these questions before listening to the chapter. 1. Why did Adil take Omri's cupboard? 2. Why was the magic gone from the cupboard? 3. Why does Little Bear shoot Boone with an arrow? Chapter 14. The Missing Key. Omri's brothers were already sitting at the tea table when the two boys rushed in. "Hi, what's for tea?" Omri asked automatically. Gillen and Adil didn't answer. Adil had a funny smirk on his face. Omri hardly noticed. "Let's make a sandwich and eat it upstairs," he suggested to Patrick. They slapped some peanut butter on bread and poured mugs of milk and hurried up the stairs to Omri's room, whispering all the way. "How long does it take?" "Only a few minutes." "Can I see her?" "Wait till we get upstairs." Omri opened the door and stopped dead. The white medicine cupboard was gone. Where is it?" gasped Patrick. Omri didn't say a word. He turned and rushed downstairs again, with Patrick behind him. "Okay, where have you hidden it?" he shouted as soon as he burst into the kitchen. "I don't know what you're referring to," said Adil loftily. "Yes, you do. You've taken my cupboard. And supposing I did, it was only to teach you a lesson. You're always taking my things and hiding them. Now, you'll see how funny it isn't. When did I last take anything of yours? Tell me one thing in the last month." "My football shorts," said Adil promptly. "I never touched your stupid shorts. I already swore I hadn't. I had to miss games again today because I didn't have them, and I got a detention for it. So you can be grateful I'm only punishing you tit for tat and not bashing you in," said Adil with maddening calm. Omri felt so furious he even wondered, for a moment, whether it was worth bashing Adil in. But Adil was enormous and it was hopeless. So after gazing at him for another moment with hate-filled eyes, Omri turned and dashed upstairs again, almost falling over Patrick on the way. "What'll you do?" "Look for it, of course." He was turning Adil's room upside down like a madman when Adil, slowly mounting the stairs in the direction of his homework, heard the racket and came running. He stood in the doorway looking at the shambles of pulled-out drawers, the gutted cupboards, and furniture pulled awry. "You little swine!" he howled, and dived at Omri. Omri fell to the ground with Adil on top. "I'll tear everything. You've got two pieces till you give it back to me," Omri shouted in jerks as Adil shook and pummeled him. "Then cough up my shorts." "I haven't got your stinking shorts," screamed Omri. "Are these them?" asked a small voice in the background. Adil and Omri stopped fighting, and Adil, sitting astride, twisted his neck to see. Patrick was just lifting a crumpled navy blue object from behind a radiator. Omri felt the anger go out of Adil. "Oh, yes, it is, as a matter of fact. How did they get there?" But Omri knew perfectly well how. Adil had hung them there to dry, and they dropped off backwards. Adil scrambled up, looking distinctly sheepish. He even helped Omri to his feet. "Well, but you have hidden things in the past," he mumbled. "How was I to know? Can I have my cupboard now?" "Yeah, it's up in the attic. I piled a whole lot of stuff on it." Omri and Patrick took the stairs to the attic 2 at a time. They found the cupboard quite quickly under a heap of bits and pieces. But Omri had carried it down to his room again before he made the fatal discovery. The key! The little twisted key with its red satin ribbon was missing. Once again, Omri ran into Adil's room to find Adil uncomplainingly putting things straight. "What happened to the key?" "What key?" "There was a key in the cupboard door with a red ribbon. I didn't notice." They went out and closed the door. Omri was now feeling desperate. "We've got to find it. It doesn't work without the key." They searched the attic till supper time. Never had Omri so clearly seen the point of all his mother's urgings to keep everything in its proper place. The attic was just a sort of glory hole where they would play and leave a total mess, and that And that was what they always did, only clearing spaces when they needed them for a new layout or for some special game. Their way of clearing was just to shove things aside into ever more chaotic heaps. Underneath the heaps were all the myriad little odd moments that were small enough to filter through the bigger things: marbles, wheels of matchbox cars, bits of Legos, small tools, parachute men, cards, and so on, plus all sorts of fragments that could have been almost anything. At first, they just raked through everything, but after a while, Omri realized that they would have to clear up systematically. Otherwise, it was like the old saying about looking for a needle in a haystack. He found some boxes and they began sorting things into them. Lego here, parts of games there, water pistols, tricks, and novelties in another. Bigger things they stacked neatly onto what his father rather bitterly called the shelves provided, which normally stood empty since everything was on the floor. It was an amazingly short time the floor was clear, except for a few odd things they hadn't found homes for, in a great deal of mud, dust, and sand.